Hello everyone, my name is Yamio and this is the first time I'm recording my voice and trying to do a tutorial for you. However, it's very laggy for me because my computer is pretty bad. But anyways, always before I do line art, I have to do my sketches, of course. I always do a rough sketch like this for my commissioner to see. So if they don't like the design or the color scheme or anything or the pose or it's not its personality, they can change it in last minute before I start to refine the sketch. I always start to color it like only roughly like this, so you know how the color scheme will work and stuff, so you don't regret it later on. Achievements and stuff is not that important. It's more important when you're doing big pictures with backgrounds and all those stuff. But it also makes the work a lot more easier. Yeah. And after I do the rough sketch, I start to refine the sketch. Oh, maybe I should take down opacity so you can see. I refine the sketch like this, so it will be easier to line art. You can see I changed the foot or feet, how you say it, the leg. I changed the leg so I could see the anatomy will be more appreciate. Then I made the dress, and then I made the hair. It's not line art, but it's not super sketchy either. It's just so I can line art much easier. If you see close, you can see it's pretty much a difference. It's much more cleaner and easier to follow than it will be to follow all these messy lines when you line art. I just, especially when it's a detailed commission, I do my best to make it detailed and precise so I don't mess it up. And I'm going to do the line art. When I do the line art, I always do it black. And today I'm actually keeping the body shape just so I know when I'm making stuff transparent, so I can color her skin beneath. So when I make it transparent, her skin will show a little, not all the way, of course. Anyways, I always make the lines black when I line art because it's easier to see. And then make everything a lot more softer. I don't need a hair right now. And I don't need to dress. But yeah, I'm gonna do a folder so you can make everything more precise and clear from each other. I always merge the line art later, and I always color the line art later as well, along with my base coloring and shading, because as the colors change all the time, I'm trying to find suiting line art colors for it, because having all black kind of takes away from the picture in my opinion, well at least for my style. Sometimes that looks really good with black lines, you know. Love that. Alright, let's start the line arting. When I line art, I usually use the airbrush or the brush, but it's invisible. Yeah. You have to change the settings to make it look, yep. And now it's pretty laggy, of course. No. I use either the airbrush or the brush because it looks a lot more softer than the pen. Oh god, the lag is so bad. And I usually have a pretty low stabilizer because I want it to feel as close as a sketch as possible, because the lines always take away the feels you have in the sketch, kind of. That makes me sad. And having too much of a stabilizer, well, it will make it look pretty perfect, but for me it looks too perfect. I don't like that. It's too perfect for me. And if you don't like so much, I could show you how I line art. Let's take around 4 or 5 is what your normal pen will look like. And I wish I would stop lagging. But I will try to do it anyways. now the line art is completely done. Well, as you can see, I always add this dark little extra shading or extra thick lines. It really adds a lot of depth into the line art, and I really like the effect it gives. Even though if you're trying to do an anime screenshot or anything like that, they usually don't have extra depth in the line art. It's completely flat like that, kind of. So don't do that if you're trying to do an anime screenshot or anything alike. I erased all the parts that the hair is covering except the eyes, because of course the hair is covering the eyes as well. However, it looks pretty weird when it's chibi, when it's all about the eyes if you take away parts of the eyes. So instead I will later on color the, well, you can see where the eyes and the hair overlap. I will color the parts where the hair overlap with the darkest shade of the hair. So it looks like it's transparent. However, it's not. I'm just coloring the eyes line art. Yeah, that's about it. In the next video, I will cover the base coloring and how I color overall, as well as coloring on the line art and such. And if you want more information and more detailed tutorials, I'm planning to do an art book in the future, so stay tuned if you want to buy that. Well, thank you for watching, and I hope my accent wasn't too troubling, and see you soon.